Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim, and in this episode I have the pleasure to present you my little watch collection. Although it's not really small anymore, I think I've overdid it a bit. There are quite some pieces I want to show you in the light box in a minute. This is a long video, yes, but you can use the timestamps to watch single segments or you watch the entire thing. That's up to you. And I will tell you, I think, the basics about every model I collected. You will find many familiar pieces because I'm not so much a flipper anymore. But I have some editions, some interesting watches, and some watches I've never shown here on the channel. And so I hope you will find this interesting. And the plan is also to give you a little bit around information about some watch prices, some values, and a lot of wrist shots, of course, in this video are included. And before we start, just 2 sentences about my habits or how I see watches, how I collect watches. And I've realized over the last years that I'm now pretty picky, I think. I don't want something which is the hype or which is very famous or popular. I want specialities. And brand is not super important, price is not super important. I try now to stay away a little bit from very affordable watches because I feel that the region between 500 and let's say 1,500 euros offers the most. It's the sweet spot in the watch game, I personally think. And I'm very interested in genres, not only watch genres, but also how to explain this in eras, in styles like Expressionism, Art Nouveau, Art Deco, and so on. And I still see, I think I've explained this in the last collection video as well, I still see watches as sometimes as garments. Then you have a certain piece for that occasion and a certain piece for this occasion, and so you can connect it to your entire wardrobe. And this is a lot of fun for me to do this, just to pick the right piece for the right occasion. Now, of course, not possible. We are in a severe lockdown right now here in Hamburg, Germany. I cut my hair every 2 weeks myself with a razor. It's very crazy, but it kind of works. Okay, and now let's go in the light box. After that, I will give you a quick preview for the next month. I have some interesting possibilities, and I want to speak a little bit about collaborations with manufacturers. It's a sensitive topic, I think, and I want to address it. But now let's examine some watches. Okay, let's begin here. I don't want to do this in a particular order. I have a mountain of watches in front of me and I just grab a piece, I think, and show you. Let's begin with an old acquaintance, old friend. Here we have a Seiko 5. Seiko 5, I think, from early 2000s, and a 36mm automatic watch, steel bracelet. And what I still love here is the special dial. I mean, you have this AP look, and the dial here is actually a very dark navy blue together with golden indices, and there is some sort of structure on the dial. So really a little bit AP-ish, but the watch has its own charm with this form here, and the crown, of course, here on position number 4, and those lovely colors. And it's a great summer watch, and I wear this watch occasionally when I'm on the beach or on a lake or something informal, something fun, together with friends and family. And the funny thing here is that this is my most precise watch. Absolutely. Runs without any form of tolerance, and so I'm really happy with that. I've bought it on a forum, I think, for 65 euros, and so really happy with that piece. Let's put it on the wrist, then you can see a little wristy. And there it is. There you see it on my 17cm wrist, Seiko 5, with the infamous bracelet, readily, but there you are. Next watch is a Chinese watch. This is a Seagull watch, 1962 Plan B. This is the successor of the 1963, which is quite confusing, but the 63 was a huge success. And then Seagull launched this watch, which apparently, or they claim that it's built after some plans from 1962, which weren't in production. And so this is the reason to call it Plan B. And you see here, despite the communist, the red star, you see the classic layout of an old chronograph from the 50s. I'm thinking of Universal Genie, for example. There you have this classic design with those two sub-dials. Here you have the seconds. There is a 30-minute counter. And it's a wonderful piece. It's a wonderful piece. People said that the numerals are pretty cheesy, but this is the look of the 50s, I'm afraid. And I personally like that. And I personally like also those fine rings here around the numerals. Again, you have this look of a dashboard of a vintage car, and so I really like this. There's a hand winding movement in it, a copy of an old Venus movement, so strange thing. This old Venus movement in Switzerland is no longer in production. In China, it is still. Caseback, it's not very decorative. You see some images there. I'm not the biggest fan of this caseback, to be honest. I put it on an aftermarket strap, so this is not an original Chinese strap because they're not so good in quality. And yeah, I like this watch. I really like this. I use the chronograph from time to time, and it's extremely basic. You can just start it like this, stop it like that, reset button. So really basic thing. It's precise. It feels buttery, and it has a good sound, as you can hear. And so I really like this Seagull. This is my only Seagull in this collection right now. The crystal here is a plexi. I'm perfectly fine with that because it gives this vintage look. I polish this crystal from time to time, but I'm not afraid of scratching anything here. And this applies to my entire collection. And even here you see this the reference to all the watches with this beautiful case form, slender lugs, and yeah, sits nicely on the wrist. I will show you this. I bet in this video I will forget 1 or 2 times to put the watch on the wrist. But here you can see it, the Seagull on the wrist. There it is. And I mean, you have to admit, it looks pretty good. Champagne dial, the nice blued hands, the red chronograph hand, the red communist star, which not everybody likes so much. I tolerate this, to be honest. I tolerate this. Yeah, Seagull. Next watch is a Tissot. This is a Tissot tuning fork watch, which means that there's a little tuning fork in it and a battery. So this is the system before quartz. Unfortunately, I've noticed this morning that the battery is dry, the battery is empty, and I cannot change it because I don't have a battery and the watchmaker is closed due to COVID, due to the lockdown, and so we have to see it like that. This watch comes from the 70s, 36 millimeter, and it's very special because look at the condition. This might be the only real new old stock watch I own, and the only new old stock watch I see, because mostly new old stock is bullshit. People try to sell you a good condition as new old stock, but here it can be. It really can be new old stock. You see this classic layout, the classic design of a 3-hand watch with a date. Very 70s look. If you see the case, very 70s, this C shape is pretty big on the wrist, and so 36 millimeters here really is enough. I really like this coin edge bezel here, together with the amazing sunburst of the dial. So this really looks, it's luxurious. And the beauty here is, I cannot show you this, unfortunately, that when the watch is running, then you hear a little tone from the tuning fork. It's very subtle, it's very quiet. But if you lie in bed, for example, and the watch is on your bed table on wood, and the wood can resonate a little bit, then you hear it. Then you really hear the this nice sound of the tuning fork. And maybe I like it so much because I'm a musician myself, and there's the tuning fork in it, and I was used to tune my instrument back then with a real, actual tuning fork. It works amazingly well. And yeah, and of course I've opened it to see that little tuning fork, and it really is there. And yeah, kind of amazing. They're not very expensive. I mean, in this condition they can be expensive, but you can pick up a tuning fork watch for 150 to 200 euros. Not very complicated. They're not rare, only in this condition, of course they are. Pretty rare. Okay, let's put it on the wrist. Here it is. By the way, a viewer brought me to buy this watch because he wrote me a letter about his tuning fork watch, and he described the sound and the feel so great that I thought I need a tuning fork watch. And here you can see that it's relatively big with the C-shaped case, and the same applies to, let's say, an old Omega Constellation from the 60s. There you have the same case form, and those constellations are 34 and 35 in diameter, and but it's so long, this diameter, and so fat with those C forms, that it's enough. And here you see 36 with C form, and it's really enough for most wrists. And so if you see all elements, then you have to, I think you have to admit that this really is a clear, clean, neat look without being boring. Absolutely without being boring. I mean, the hands and the indices are pretty basic. You find those types of hands and indices on many watches for a reason, I think, really for a reason. It's a shame that it doesn't run. Because, of course, you don't have hacking seconds here. You have a very smooth and extremely smooth, but like almost any watch of this collection, you will find an in-depth video with this watch here on the channel. And so if you want, yeah, as said, if you want more information, then just search Caseback Watches and Tissot tuning fork, and then you have the video. Okay, let's go to the next piece. This is an Omega Constellation from 1963. Was owned by my grandfather. He gave it to my father gave it to me. It's 34 millimeters, gold capped, not gold plated. As you can see, here's a cap of gold, massive gold. On its automatic watch, plexi on top. The dial is damaged. As you can see, there was really a hole in the crystal. My father wasn't so good to that watch. Here you have all the nice ingredients of 60s Omega style. Nice hands, very simplistic indices. Then you have this beautiful little star there, which I absolutely like. And I absolutely like the font of the constellation here. This beautiful font of the constellation. And there you have this Omega logo in gold and this wonderful case form here. This is a case form, right? This is a really beautiful case form with this ring in gold here on top. The watchmaker who did the service changed the crown, and he gave it a silver crown, steel crown, but I'm pretty under the impression that there should sit a golden crown, because here you have the golden front, and yeah, I think this is a little flaw. Case back here you see with the famous observation tower with the stars as a symbol to measure time, as a symbol for time actually, because the movement of the stars, there you can find out the exact time, and they really use those observatories to measure time and to calibrate movements. And so overall, very nice piece with really character. I mean, look at this, absolute stunner. Small on the wrist, I will show you it. Wait a second, and there it is. These are 34 millimeters. I'm lucky in this case because my wrists are relatively small, so I can wear this without any problems. And the concept that your watch covers your entire arm is new. Would be very odd to state in the 60s and 70s that the watch should wear you, instead you wear your watch. And so I'm very happy with this look, especially together with a brown suit, for example. Looks amazing with a brown suit. By the way, excuse my hands, they are a bit messy because I worked with Chinese ink and you cannot remove that stuff only with soap. But okay, never mind. To the watch, people often ask if it's possible to wear it on a daily basis or it's very fragile. And my experience is if the watch is waterproof, if you have new seals, especially here on the crown, then you can wear it every day. Absolutely. They are fairly robust. I mean, you have a plexi on top, of course, but we all know it's easy to fix, it's easy to polish, and so no problem. If you have a good constellation from the 60s, wear it. Now something very special. This is from, very sad case. My best friend had a father passed a few weeks ago, and the father had quite a watch collection with very strange pieces and very exotic pieces. And I borrowed it. I think I will buy it. I'm not entirely sure, but this is so beautiful. It's so an amazing piece. And by the way, it's not odd for me to buy a watch from that collection because my best buddy and I, we grew up together. We're close to be family. Actually, I consider him part of my family. And so I think it's appropriate when I buy this watch. And what you see here is a Precimax. Precimax. This is one of those old Swiss brands, long gone, maybe a victim of this quartz crisis. And this is an automatic watch with a case made of 18 karat gold. And there you are. There's the stamp, the gold stamp. And what I find here so beautiful is the case form. I mean, look at this. Look at this wonderful slender case. I think the entire watch is, the height is 10 millimeters and the case diameter is 35. which in this case is enough, really, absolutely enough. And you look at this sunburst effect, it's just amazing. And this together with this rare brand, let's shake it a bit, then can run. And it's a chronometer, and it runs as a chronometer still, absolutely amazing. You know what, we can open it, I think. I've opened it once only with my fingers. Sometimes, yeah, this works. Sometimes this works. I'm not pretty sure what kind of movement there is. Maybe you can help me. Maybe people will recognize this movement. To me, this looks like the predecessor of something like ETA. So a generic movement made for other manufacturers to put in nice watches. And this is a pretty high quality movement because the performance after so many decades is amazing. I mean, maybe it was serviced, but I highly doubt that it was serviced at least in the last 10 years. And so if you know this movement, let me know, please. Let me know in the comment, what is this? And every part, of course, is pretty heavy because 18 karat gold has its weight. Let's close it again. You can open watches like this pretty often. It might help when you use a little bit of body lotion on your fingers, that they are a little bit sticky. And then you really have some force with that. Okay, but let's put it on the wrist. Let's wear the watch. And here we are. And you see 35 millimeters sits nicely on my wrist. No problem at all to wear this. The price for this watch, by the way, is completely unclear. Those watches you find on Chrono for over 1,000 euros, but those are wet dreams of sellers. I really think that the value here is the gold price plus, let's say, 100 euros for the movement, or 150 or 50, I don't know. But I don't think that there is so much brand value in it. I mean, it's relatively rare, especially in this condition. So maybe you can add a little bit more to reflect that rareness, but there's not really a market for this watch. And so very hard to figure out here prices, very hard, I have to see. So what do you think? Is this a buy or not? Next watch is a Tissot. A Tissot, here you have a Tissot Navigator, produced in the 90s, a 36 millimeter steel case, and this makes the watch rare. Because you find this model in quite some varieties, but they are all very big and often gold plated. And this is, I think, the only edition, the only small edition from this watch with a 36 millimeter steel case. And this I like pretty much. It's an automatic watch. It's a chronometer, I think not certified, but it runs extremely well. It's a nice ETA, very high quality chronometer movement inside. There you have a plexi here, which is perfectly fine for me, as mentioned often. And you have a GMT function, because there you find on the outer ring the normal numerals, so to speak, and on the inner ring you find a 24-hour scale, and then you find those tiny cities. Hard to see, to be honest. But I really like this style. I really like GMT functions, and especially this world time complication here, the city names, because you really wear then the world on your wrist. And if you run a YouTube channel, for example, then you don't have to be a traveler. You are in constant contact with other people from all around the world. And so this is very nice. I think I really like that aspect. And the cities here on the dial, they are quite exotic. You find there Numia and other islands, for example, but not some capitals of the world. But this reflects the time. Back then, those time zones were very important. And so you find them on the dial. And you operate this watch very simple. It's hand winding as well. In position 1 here you can rotate the inner disc with the cities. You can set it to your time zone, and then you can read the time in another city with one look. And this is the charming thing here. Nice crown, by the way, nice rounded crown. And overall the entire look, I mean, this is amazing. This is really amazing. Again, like a vintage car dashboard, with this high polished bezel here and those very distinctive and somewhat big lugs. Here on the back you find a beautiful case back with some nice engravings on. There's the number of the watch, the reference number. And so, yeah, very nice watch. I put it on another strap. This is a Herzog strap. This is my brand of choice because they deliver quality, reasonable price. I like the colors because I only buy dark brown, I think. And so very nice piece. Really, this is really vintage charm, but hassle-free. It's not very expensive. This watch you can pick up for, let's say, 750 euros if you find it. You will not find it, or at least you will have a very hard time to find it on eBay or Chrono24. And now let's put it on the wrist. 36 millimeters, slender watch, and you see for somebody like me, perfectly wearable. And nice colors. I mean, look at this ring here with bronze or gold tone, and the off-white inner dial together with blank metal. Yeah, nice watch. Love it. Absolutely love it. It was a nightmare to buy it. I've made a video about that. It took me 6 weeks to get it, and I had to be really nasty to somebody, but yeah, was worth it, right? Absolutely worth it. Next watch comes from Cormac. Cormac is a photographer from France. This is the Vostok comrade from the Soviet Union from the 80s. The case form reminds me of an egg. But I like this watch because it looks bad. It looks big and bad in a good way. You have a sunburst effect. You have this strange color. No idea what this color is. It's copper or what is it with some green in it. And of course this is an affordable watch, hand winding. And yeah, but it was a gift from Cormac, and I think he knew that I have a small Cold War obsession. I like items from that time. And so I'm very happy that I have my own Cold War watch. Massively domed crystal, by the way. It's a little bit loose. You can hear some sound. I wouldn't say the watch is waterproof, but from time to time I wear this with fun. And hand winding, absolutely hassle-free thing. Like most of Russian watches, you can set the date very easy. There's a quick set with this typical method that you go to your 12, date is changing, you just go back, and then it changes again. Cluck, cluck, cluck. So very easy, and you cannot break it. So very handy thing. The watch is chrome plated, and diameter is, I think, 42. But it's not big like a 42 because the length is reduced. And so let's put it on the wrist, and then you can see a Vostok from the Soviet Union on the wrist here. And there it is, and you see it's not super big, it's not extremely big, and I really like that look. If you have some rougher days, and so you can wear this, piece will absolutely fun. I put it on an Eichmüller strap. This is a strap here with rivets. And yeah, happy with that. I really like this watch. I really like the color and the look and this crazy case, which looks a little bit science fiction-esque, but vintage on the same time. And this, very interesting look. I mean, absolutely distinctive. You can see on first glance, oh, a Vostok from the 80s. The next watch is a diver. People were very concerned that I don't own a diver in my first collection video, but here you have a diver. Oops, let me make some room here for my arm. There you have a diver. This is an Oris 65 bronze, and the speciality here is that first, it's a marvelous looking watch with this blue dial, massive indices, and the overall look and the case form just beautiful. 40 millimeter case, so very contemporary in size. Then you have the bezel here is bronze, or let's say the inlay is bronze, inlay of the bezel. But very special is that the bracelet is also with a bronze strap in the middle. So you have direct contact to your skin. Bronze on skin. This is not for everybody because it can cause allergic reactions. But in my case, it's completely unproblematic. I wear this watch during the summer over weeks without any problem, and so really like this. And here you have a hassle-free package. Cylinder movement. This is a sapphire, anti-reflective sapphire. You have a screw-down crown. And this is not very special. Operating a cylinder is operating a cylinder, right? So you have position 2 here, focus, and then you can set the time, very easy. You have the date on position 6, and well executed, I think, because you can't spot it, but it doesn't disturb the overall look of the watch with those nice big indices. Yeah, this is really a diver I like. And you will see that 40 millimeters for me is the maximum. I can wear it. Looks a smidgen too big on me, but you know what? I don't give a damn. I want to wear this watch. This in summer with a linen jacket or with other pieces. And here you see this nice bronze tone. It looks better on tanned skin. So when I'm a little bit tanned during summer, then it looks way better, this watch. But even now, I really like it. This has a little bit of steampunkish look, like you wear the plumber of a spaceship. Steam powered, of course, and so yeah, really like this. This is my own diver. They are pretty expensive, to be frank, because it's exotic and the brand Oris is relatively popular. So I think new they cost 2,000 or 1,900 euros, and used you find them for, let's say, 1,300, 13 to 1,400. So compared to other watches, they really keep a big chunk of their value, and yeah, I'm really happy with that. This is, I think, a keeper. I don't see any reason to sell this watch, to be honest. But people, of course, ask you if it turns your skin a little bit green, and the answer is yes. It will turn your skin green, especially if you're sweating. I mean, maybe you could use some varnish here on the inside to prevent that, but I think there's no need for it. I wear it like that. Okay, next watch. Here we have a Rolex Datejust. Rolex Datejust from 1986, reference 16030. So 36 millimeter case. You have a steel bezel here. Comes on the original restored Jubilee bracelet, as you can see, in very nice condition because there is no stretch. Was fixed by Klokkeland in Norway. I'm very happy with the job. And what I here really like is the overall look, this champagne dial with the typical Rolex elements, the vintage elements, I must say. I like those older watches way more than modern Rolex watches. And this, of course, together with the Jubilee. I'm really a fan of Jubilee bracelets. I find them very elegant and very comfortable to wear. I've not a problem with the sound they make, this typical Jubilee sound. It's not very nice if they have a lot of stretch, and it's dangerous. It really can break. And so if you have an old Rolex with a Jubilee, then you should consider a fix or buy a new bracelet. And this, of course, is a chronometer, runs as a chronometer, is in very good shape, high amplitude, and I send it to Rolex for new seals and a new crystal and something like that. And so this 1986 watch is in very, very good condition. Very nice watch. And I bought it, believe it or not, for I think 2,400 euros a couple of years ago, and the value of this watch is now way beyond 3,000. And so, yeah, very good investment. But I don't see it as an investment. It's a keeper. I will never sell this watch. You don't have to write me an email. I will never sell it. I wear it very often, especially in the summer, because it looks just right on me. It looks just right. 36 is perfect for me. And I love it. I just love it to wear it. Goes with everything. I mean, you can wear it with a suit. You can wear it with a shirt like or a polo or something like that, or your pajama if you want. So just nice. Just a nice watch. Sometimes it looks a little bit dull, and you think, what's so special here? But then the sun comes out, or you're under a certain light, and then it really shines. It really shines. And so, absolutely great watch. I love it. Not for the fact that it's a Rolex, but it's a good watch. It's a good, beautiful, convincing watch. And the next two watches are a gift from a viewer. Very, very nice, very friendly and kind. And a gentleman from the United States sent me two vintage pieces. Elgin or Hamilton or Elgin, but there's a debate between Americans and English guys. Is it Elgin or Elgin? I don't know. This is the Elgin, this is Hamilton. And those watches are from the 50s, and they represent the normal standard for watches in those times. So extremely small. To be honest, I didn't measure them. I have no idea how small they are, but you know what? It doesn't matter to me. It absolutely doesn't matter. This is a charming pieces from the past with a certain distinctive look. Here you find a little bit patina, but the indices enhance balance this a bit. You see that their light is playing and the light overplays the patina. And you have interesting case forms. I mean, look at that. Very interesting case forms. And they're service, they run, you can wear them. And this one I wore in the last summer many times, especially on this beautiful, beautiful bracelet, which isn't Hamilton. I don't know what company it is, to be honest, and it doesn't fit exactly to the watch. But those are tiny details, not very important for me. The overall look is important and the overall feel. And you have here a wonderful feel. Hand winding, extremely smooth to wind. And now I will put it on the wrist. And then you will absolutely see what I mean. And here you are. And imagine this look in the summertime together with a linen jacket or something like that. Just nice. I mean, this is pimpy in a good way, like the good pimp. Really, really nice. I mean, a little bit too much patina, if you ask me, but here you have it. Here you have those shiny elements on the dial which overshine the patina, and so really, really cool watch. People will look at you with a watch like this, absolutely. But you know, I'm not concerned about that. It's not overly important for me, and so nice thing. And so I will not bore you with specifications like if this is a plexi, yes it is, or how many jewels are in the movement. You know what? I don't know. I give a damn. I enjoy the piece like that. Here we have another golden watch. This is a very interesting piece. This is a Mido, a Mido chronometer. Mido chronometer. This is a very special type made in the 60s with a closed case. There's no case back. You can remove the crown. Very easy, by the way. If you want to set the time a little bit brutal, then you have the crown in your hands with the stamp, but you can push it then back in. And so it was meant to be very waterproof. And this is the reason why those watches are still in a very good condition, even if they are old. This provides the day. In German, Mit is Mittwoch, this is Wednesday, and the date, of course. Very advanced movement. Here you see the HB in small. HB stands for high beat, so this is the El Primero from Mido. So very high beat, very fast ticking movement with excellent accuracy. And overall, of course, the look of the 60s. You have those block indices, you have the gold plating. This is gold plating, which you find also on this nice silky bracelet here. And here's the crown with a special sealing with cork in it. So if the watch is in contact with humidity, then the cork swells and seals off the case. So very, very nice piece. And here you have it on my wrist. This look Roger Moore during the 60s would have liked, but I like it as well. And value of this watch, again, completely unclear. Not really a market for this. I mean, Mido is a well-known brand. The features are excellent, chronometer and this high beat movement. And I don't know, to be honest. I've paid 350 euros for it. I don't know if this is good or not, but maybe I will sell this piece here because there's a little issue. The bracelet has knobs, and those knobs are a little bit worn out and exactly the position I need. So if you have a larger wrist than you could wear it, I think, without any problems. But in my position, those things are worn out. Other solution, bring it to the jeweler to renew them. This could be a good solution. I don't know, but I like this. And I like to have a Mido in the collection, especially with this nice integrated bezel and this classic form. Next fun watch. This is not for everybody. Every time I show it on Instagram, then people really say, oh, wow, this is a really, really big watch. Are you sure? Because case diameter here, 50 millimeters, or not diameter, length, of course, length. And this is a Tissot Banana. It follows an old watch by Tissot from the early 20th century, and you can really see it. And this is my only quartz watch. There's a tiny, ugly movement in it, to be honest. But the watch overall is really beautiful look, as you can see. Very elegant, more for the summer together with a little bit tanned skin and sunshine and in a nice bar or cafe. Really, really beautiful. And one of my dreams really is to own such a watch in real gold with a mechanical movement, not an automatic, hand wound, and this would be really something. And you have an ugly strap on it. The original Tissot straps, not really my thing. Folded clasp, everything okay with it. But let's put it on the wrist and then you will see why I like this watch so much. Of course it's too big. I mean, yeah, I get it. The reason back then was that they tried to fit a movement in a watch with a rounded case, a watch with a rounded case. And then, of course, you need some space in this watch. And this is the reason why the thing is then so big. But as you can see, it's huge. But this together with cuff and suit, and absolutely nice, absolutely nice. And people really smile when they see with this watch anyway. They want to have a look. And I mean, yeah, it's fun. It's extremely comfortable, of course, extremely comfortable. You don't have a second hand, so quartz not really is an issue here. And so I really enjoy this. Very affordable, by the way. Used, they go for, what is it, 100, 120, 150. Maybe that's it, but yeah, fun piece. Okay, next watch. Here we have a special Longines. This watch is from the 40s, and you see really some information in the case, and the watch itself is plated, but in a nice rose gold tone. So really a small watch, but I didn't buy this for to wear it, to be frank. I bought it more like a museum director buys the watch, which was kind of stupid, which really was kind of stupid. And so I think this is the only watch which is for sale here. There's a lady's strap, by the way, on it, which is completely wrong. It should be on a men's strap. Should be on a men's strap, but you see the size. It's very, very small. It's very small, but it's a nice ensemble for a display or something. And so if you want to buy this watch, yeah, just ask. Just write me an email to caseback.watches@icloud.com. Value, oh, I don't know. I think I bought it for 250, the entire ensemble. And I think this would then be the price, to be honest. 250 euros for this ensemble. So if you're interested, then let me know. Then I send you more images and then we can see. Europe only, guys. Only because of customs. Very sorry. Okay, the last two watches. Every week I receive requests from people who try to buy those two watches, but the answer always is very sorry. Guys, no. Here you have the Dubey Schaldenbrand Diplomatic, cushion form, sterling silver case, rhodium plated. And this is of course very special. You will find 285 watches of this type on the market only. Not more. So absolutely limited edition with a very nice quality. And the watch is relatively small, but it's packed with fine watchmaking, really, because you have here a GMT function. Normally for me set to East Coast time, US East Coast for YouTube reasons. Then you have the date, little subdial, here's the date. There's the GMT. And here you have a 24-hour indicator. So you have 3 complications in the watch, which is also a chronometer, by the way. So you have really a small case loaded and packed with fine watchmaking, automatic movement, and so yeah, what can you want more? Absolutely convincing for me. And I like the numerals. The numerals are, yeah, this font is very old. I think it's medieval. So this watch really reflects the era of expressionism. I think it's a very drastic, old, interesting font style. And this together with the features. Only downside is that the dial is normal. It's normal metal plate with varnish. And I think better would be a real enamel dial, but of course this is extremely expensive and extremely rare. The watch back then, I mean this is from the 90s, retailed at 3,200 in this region. Price now again absolutely unclear. It's too rare. There's not a market. People constantly try to buy it, but nobody really know what you should pay for it. And so, yeah, no idea. But again, this is absolutely a keeper. I love this watch. Often I think, you have worn it so many times now and you will get tired about it. But then I put it out of the box, put it on the wrist, and then I see, wow, this is just a beautiful watch. A very special watch. And this is on a Herzog strap, by the way. It's not the original. I'm not obsessed with original straps. It's not important for me. And there you are, very special case form. Very special case form, very special watch, very special look, extremely useful. You see scratches all over the watch. Yeah, but this is life, I think. I really wear this watch, I don't baby it. And so it looks like it looks. And one time I wrote to Dubey Schaldenbrand because I wanted to know more about the watch, the production number and everything. And they were very friendly and let me know everything they knew about this piece here. So very special brand, very special watch, keeper, keeper, keeper. Sorry guys. Okay, the last watch of this collection, and this piece I'm wearing since 2 weeks and I still enjoy it. Again, people try constantly to buy that thing from me. This is an Oris pointer date from the 90s with an amazing dial, one of the most beautiful dials I've ever seen on watches. You have this dark blue inner dials with this vinyl texture on it. Then you have very, very beautiful indices and numerals, and of course you have the pointer date in form of a little moon, of a red moon, which I absolutely adore. And an interesting case form. Look at this with bezels and slender watch, 36 millimeters, and the thickness I think is 12 millimeters. But look at this, it's absolutely beautiful. Comes on a nice bracelet. Here you see, very nice bracelet, extremely comfortable and beautiful, and so really like that piece. Normal clasp. Inside is an ETA with a see-through case. I don't know if this is necessary, to be honest, because it's not decorated, but okay. And now let's put it on the wrist. And there you are. I mean, this is a look, right? This really is a beautiful look. Absolute stunner. Absolute stunner. The watch is extremely rare, so again, it's not really easy to tell what the price or the value here is. I've bought it years ago for 330 euros, but those times are long gone. Those times are long gone, very sorry, but yeah. And I had 2 of those watches. I've picked one on eBay and I sold it to a viewer of the channel, and he was extremely happy about that, which was satisfying for me. And yeah, cool piece, absolutely cool piece, keeper. Okay, and this was a long dive into watches, and now let's go back. Okay, welcome back. And now let's speak briefly about the future. The future in watches, the future here on YouTube, the future of this channel. I'm pretty satisfied, I must say. I have to report positives because the channel is big enough now that I can reach out to manufacturers, or in fact watch manufacturers and collectors write me emails and they offer watches for reviews, and I think this is absolutely great. And so I think my own collection will not increase in this year because I have so many distractions with nice and beautiful things. And I really feel I don't have to buy anything I like. I just can examine it, I can wear it a couple of days, then I have to return it. Yes, this is the ugly truth. There's this rumor, by the way, that the only thing you have to do is to found a YouTube channel and then you can keep every watch. I don't know who started this, but in my case, I have to say, absolute impossible. Even if I wanted, I couldn't keep watches. I think in the entire history of Caseback Watches, I've kept 2 pieces. 2 pieces. One I've given away during a giveaway, naturally. But the other one, I think I've just sold. I grabbed the money and I bought something nice for me. I think this, but those were the only 2 times. And I think this thing with free watches is entirely another business model. I mean, there are YouTube channels where the guys just write a bill and they say to the manufacturer, give me a couple of thousand or couple of hundred euros or US dollars and I will say something positive about your watch. But this is an entirely different business model. You will never, ever see this on Caseback Watches. I hate it for some reasons. And my model here is completely different because it's not a business model. This is the big difference. I don't have to make money with this channel, and so my terms are simple. Send in the watch for 1 week, I will return it after 1 week. You don't have to pay anything, and I say what I want, and that's basically it. And most people are fine with that. Most companies are fine with that. And in my model, when a company really gives me a watch, which happened 2 times, as I said, I think this is more a calculation, to be honest, because the one time was from Tissot. They are located in Singapore. So they send the watch around the globe. It passes German customs. They have to pay customs, of course. They had to pay the shipping back. And this for a watch which costs in production, what is it then? 250 US dollars or even less. So it's simply not worth it. And I think sometimes this is then the speculation. Let him be with a watch. He will like us for that. He can make a giveaway or what else. And so in short, I will continue with that, with those terms and conditions, free reports about watches, no fee included, no bribes. And so because I feel very comfortable with that, and the last months have shown that it works. And especially this week, I had some very interesting emails, and I think I can present you beautiful, interesting and inspiring timepieces here in the next months. And so if you want to have some updates here, then please consider a subscription. It's extremely encouraging for me and extremely helpful. And when you like to have some sneak previews and other things I find interesting, then please join me on Instagram. I show their watches, but quirky stuff around those watches, Ushankas and tailor work, leather work and so on. Okay, and that's enough for one video. Thank you very much for your attention, and maybe until next time.